maybe Sugababes.
Katherine of Barnsley.
Not just frog in a blender, but
Can I have a 40th rave in there?
it's like, you know, when you have anxiety,
Hanging out the window going, how is that?
spin, and I was like, what flipping? Not heard that before.
Hello and welcome to Under the Lid, the Pro Cricket Show, with me, Jack Brooks.
And me, Katherine Sciver-Brunt.
And as always, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with the PCA and the Cricketer. Not much to report this week other than you basically becoming a member of the royal family, or higher up the royal family, boss in this country.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pack up some stuff and have, my bag ready to move into the palace soon. It's on its way, surely.
We've got to change the letters at the or a letter at the end of your name now, haven't we?
Well, I should have introduced myself as Katherine Sciver-Brunt OBE, shouldn't I, really? That's how
How
it
does that
should
sound?
be done.
How does it
Sounds
sound?
sweet, doesn't it? I'd like to be like, I want the sword on the shoulder.
Where you've got an I think CBA, and then you get up to the rank of knighthood, don't you? Where you can become a dame. Dame Katherine.
Dame Kathy B. You need that.
Katherine of Barnsley.
Yeah, and then I can start, herding my sheep down London, Barnsley, wherever I wish. And
I did have a
Go
look
on.
online to see what you can actually do as an OBE. Sorry. So you can use is it the cathedral in London, St Paul's?
St Paul's.
You can use the chapel. There's a private chapel there. You can use the chapel for weddings, baptisms, and memorial services for you, your kids, and your grandkids. So once you start having these children, they're going to be sorted for life. Then your grandkids, everyone in your family is going to be at the St Paul's all the time.
Can I have a 40th rave in there as well?
I'm all for it. I'm sure Charles can get that through, can't he? You give him a call. Now you're best mates with him.
Anyway, let's stop talking about me. Let's have a little. Yes, moving on. Let's have a little natter about the men. We've had a few successful days, haven't we?
How good? Yeah, how good.
I think before our last episode, we were talking to Harry. It was Twitchy Bum time, weren't it? They had two massive games coming up, Namibia and Oman. And I have to say, I was a little bit nervous because of all the, crazy things that's been happening. But they absolutely smoked them, didn't they? And it was good to watch, actually. It was good. I mean, the pitch looked a bit dodgy, but it was good to watch, weren't it?
Well, they showed the class, didn't they, in both of them. Reduced. The second game was obviously reduced, and that was a bit nervy because literally the weather was probably the only thing that was going to deny them, which would have been gutting. And obviously losing to Australia would have just meant bad weather. But if there's a team that can do it, it's England. And I don't know about you, but I got the sort of the mood from listening to Harry talk about it. He seemed really confident and chilled about the whole thing. And, I think that's just the way that England are these days, isn't it?
Yeah, and
hopefully that's how the women go about their stuff as well. We'll find that out in a bit with our guest. But it was just, they just destroyed both teams, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm so happy for Harry as well. He played so well.
Promised us big runs, didn't he? Now he's just gone out and drilled him. Didn't have to do anything in the first one and then smoked him in the second one.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's good. I don't really have many luckily that's those situations where you're waiting on a result for yourself never really happened to us. Maybe one time where we won our game and then we were relying on Australia to beat West Indies, and then I swear to God they lost on purpose. And actually there's a lot of controversy between on the Aussie camp, wasn't there, that they were gonna
I don't know if that was just a bit of banter from Hazelwood and people have just tried to make a story out of it. I cannot imagine ever Australia wanting to lose a game of cricket.
Well, could you ever imagine them getting a bit of, a decent numbered sandpaper out of the pocket either?
Oh!
Hey! Cut that bit out, Tom. Joking. Right.
Fantastic. Anyway, your week, how's it been? What have you been up to? Any more DIY? What else has been going on?
Yeah, well, I like to continue the DIY trend. So I've moved my circular saw, my pencil, my straight edge and all that into the bedroom above the annex. And we've been building a wooden bed, which actually looks mint. I'm really proud of it, actually. Maybe I'll reveal on Instagram before and after. Everybody loves a before and after, don't they?
You're making it out of old cricket bats?
Absolutely
you
not.
give
That's a step too far. I mean, people might start asking for them. That'd be pretty sweet, to be fair, wouldn't it? Amy's birthday, Amy Jones's 31st birthday, and she decided to have a week, even though it's not a special number. She celebrated all week. And one of the days was mine, and we had a bit of champagne afternoon tea, played a bit of tennis, got her some golf lessons for her birthday because she's a bit pants. So she needs all the help she can get, really.
Aren't we all?
But actually, I've found that a sign of a bad golfer, I mean, it's not for everyone, but generally, if you're going bad at cricket, your golf's all right, and vice versa. So Amy's cricket's going well at the minute, which means her golf is shocking.
I was going to say that golf must be really bad because she is dominating cricket at the minute, isn't she?
Yeah, my golf's getting better now because I'm not playing cricket. It's great. Yeah. Wayne, what have you been up to?
A bit of parenting last week. Funny story on that. I had Billy to myself on the Friday because my partner was working abroad for the day. So she flies in, flies out. And she was due back, I don't know, in the evening sometime. Gone bedtime. I was fully expecting to be able to swap beds at about 10 o'clock so that I could get some good kit before the big club game the next day for Banbury. And then she starts panic messaging me in the evening saying all flights are getting cancelled out of Nice because of the bad weather. Nothing's able to land or take off. And she's panicking that if she doesn't get back, she might not get back the next day until like the afternoon. I was like, I'll just leave the child. I'll just leave a 1-year-old in the pavilion at Banbury on its own then, shall I? So she was suggesting I pull out the game. And I was like, you don't know how this works, do you? You can't just pull out of the game on a midnight on a Friday night or the morning of the game. So I just took Billy along with me. Luckily, it was raining. And she did turn up about quarter of an hour before the game was due to start, but it didn't. So, and also I'm just trying to start organising a charity game in memory of my old man who was president of my local village side back in Oxfordshire for a game in August. Raise some money for charity for mesothelioma charity, which is the cancer he suffered from and had a short battle with, unfortunately. So yeah, Father's Day was a bit tough without him. It was my first one without him, but also it was my first one with Billy. So bittersweet, and made sure I enjoyed the day and had a really nice day with my little man and Danny as well. So yeah, pretty busy week. Really.
That is about 10 different emotions all in one.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, a bit of grief and a bit of happiness thrown in, and just trying to enjoy everything really. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Good on you. I hope the charity game goes well. If I can help, let me know.
Well, I'd love to get you involved, whether to play or be there, or even
Please
anything
don't
signed.
make me play.
Would you like? I mean, you just have to be there as a member of the royal family, don't you? So
I'll be there and bow. And Nat,
Umpire?
Nat could play. I'll give her out. Yeah.
Remember, you can send in any feedback or questions to us by using the hashtag #UnderTheLid or email us at hello@underthelid.co.uk. Right, Katherine, what do we know about our legendary guest this week?
Well, I am absolutely delighted to be introducing our guest for this week, who is another of the England women's superstars. She's of a trio of spinners, actually deadly spinners, all three of them in the probably top 7 in the world, maybe less. And we've had one of them, Charlie, on. And so I'd like to introduce into this. Sarah Glenn is coming, guys, as if you couldn't have guessed by now. And then we'll just need to have Sophie Eccleston next to complete it, won't we?
Yeah, the trifecta, the Fab Trio, whatever. Do they have a name for themselves? Do you have a name for them?
I bet they don't, but they will now.
I couldn't believe it when I was doing a bit of research on her earlier that she's only 24.
I mean, most of us, if you look at our ages, are between 16 and 19 debutantes, and I think it's just through the fact that I reckon you've got, let's just say, 10,000 men trying to make it pro, as opposed to 500 women trying to make it pro. So I think there's an easier way in. Nothing's easy, but do you know what I mean? The path is more clear. But playing with Glennie, obviously not that long ago, and only last August, to be honest, in the Rocket, in the 100 with and against her. She's an absolute babe. She's one of my favourite human beings on this planet. We both love dogs. We both love going out and having a drink and a dance.
Excellent.
We are polar opposites in some way, though. She's very feminine. I'm not so much. But we both love a laugh and not taking things serious, and that's what I love about Glennie.
Well, we can't wait to hear. It's about time we get her in then. Shall we get under the lid with Sarah Glenn?
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Oh, thank you, Katherine.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Sorry, that's just my instinct reaction when I'm a bit like, oh God. But no, so we go, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katherine. I think we're similar in so many ways. Maybe not with my lashes, probably not. I know.
I've got some blonde hair under here, but it's an absolute state.
Two blondes.
Yours is fabulous, and mine can just stay under here.
It's actually been really sweaty. I didn't have time to do it. I just shoved a load of dry shampoo in there.
Well, it would take
hoping for the
me
best.
about 3 hours to look like that, so you've done well.
Thanks.
Congratulations on being selected for the ODI series against New Zealand. How do you reckon your summer's gone so far from an international point of view?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, as you know, playing with the girls is always fun. Got to go to New Zealand earlier this year, which was gorge. Absolutely great place to play cricket. And then I got concussed, so that was great. So yeah, that was a bit of a rubbish time, and then came back, recovered, and then we had the Pakistan series, which was fun as well. So yeah, it's been good actually. I feel in a good place with cricket. I've had a few niggles here and there, but yeah, been managing well. And yeah, it's been fun.
Who doesn't have niggles all year round? I mean, I'd like to meet those people because they're
You're
weird.
a bowler.
Yeah, she's a bowler. But go back on the old concussion thing actually, because I'm glad you mentioned that, because I don't think it's like a topic we go into much, and we don't sort of like get under the lid with people on stuff they've been through, because it's been a bit of a journey for you. What number concussion was that?
I think 4 or 5.
Wow.
I mean, it's quite fun. It's ironic that I can't remember if it's 4 or 5. I had a scat test the other day, and they were like 4 or 5. How many? I was like 4 or 5. I was like the 5th one. I don't know if I can't remember it, but yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a frustrating one. I've not had one actually in a while. I had all these quite younger mixture of hockey and cricket. But yeah, so yeah, it's just been a bit of a journey, but we're here. I've still got a few brain cells left.
It's not easy, is it,
Not easy.
for our listeners, and for me actually, because I've probably had one, but can't remember either. What's it like to suffer from one?
Oh, it's awful. It's just like, I think obviously any injury is not ideal, but sometimes I think when something bad happens, like always happens for a reason. Like if I've ever had other niggles, it's like I've had time spent with family, friends, like some downtime. But with concussion, that just doesn't happen because it's just constant headache. I mean, I've had different symptoms each concussion I've had, to be fair. But a lot of it's just like you can't concentrate, can't focus, can't go on your phone, can't watch TV. So even though you've been given this time off, it's not really off. You're just kind of sat in a dark room, like waiting for it to go away. So yeah, it's one of my. I actually really hate that injury. It's one of my worst ones, but of course, it means the one I've had the most. But yeah,
It's not like you can lay on the settee and watch a TV program and just chill. It's like closing your eyes is probably the best relief, and having a nap.
literally. But then it's so annoying because then you want to just like go and get fresh air or like do something, and then you watch TV for a bit, and then you're like, oh God, I feel worse.
Yeah.
And then you just sat there thinking about it, which then makes it worse. And then they're like, just don't stress about it. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll just sat here and not worry about it.
I can like recall, obviously like the protocols back in the day when I started out, compared to sort of midway through my career to the end. Do you remember? Were you in the phase where you could remember like how it was then and how it is now in terms of the tests that they do to help, what the support's like, and like has it gotten better, and is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's better, but I also think it's quite hard for me to judge because the first few ones I got, I was like 17 at the time, 18. And there was a rule where if you were under 18, you'd have to have 2 weeks automatically off as soon as you're diagnosed. So I had a few, that's why it kind of kept putting me back as well, which was frustrating because I had a few back to back.
Is that hockey?
Yeah, 2 were hockey, and then the third was cricket. And then I've had I think it's my fourth one. And then there was one that wasn't like officially diagnosed, but it was just like a little one for like a week and then it went away. It wasn't like significant. But I'm just obviously more susceptible to symptoms as soon as I get a little knock on the head.
Yeah, well,
Um,
so people like love to criticize the shit out of like people getting a concussion sub or going off a concussion because it's not really something you can see the effects of. But do you? I mean, I obviously totally agree with the tests being in place because I think for people who are resufferers, it's easier to get one than your first time, isn't it? So it's good that they're in place, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd always err on the side of caution because, I mean, for a long time there wasn't a lot of research in it, and obviously your brain's quite special, especially for me, not got much left, so it's quite a vital part of the scenario. But yeah, I do agree with it, but I do think it has got better. Because before it was like if you had any symptom, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it'd just be so frustrating because like day to day, I've always got a little headache. I mean, it's probably me, I don't drink enough water, but there's always just like some kind of symptom going off. Like it could be lack of sleep, slight headache, stress, anxiety, like it could be anything. Whereas like now, like even though you might have those symptoms, it's kind of as long as you're not getting worse, it's better to actually keep your brain active, which was, I think, really good for me. So, I might have, some days I'd try to take that next stage. And if my symptoms got worse, obviously I wouldn't do it. But I felt like I was responding better to just gradually just engaging my brain. Whereas before it was if you had any symptom, just stop. And that was so frustrating because then that just raised my stress and anxiety levels up, which was then classified as a symptom. So I think it has got better, and that's from research as well. Like it's not just like they've made it up, like it's from research. So I do think it's getting, from my personal experience, I think it's better to keep engaging my brain because there was a period of time where I like couldn't do it for so long, and then I had to do my A levels with it as well, which was a nightmare. And so when I came to do that, like everything just felt so much harder, and I almost had to retrain, like almost how to even socialize and like talk to people, engage my brain, and it just made it so much harder. So how it's done now, I think, is a lot better.
Yeah, your mate Alex Danson, she got a horrific one, didn't she? Like,
Oh
her
my God,
her road
that
to
was
recovery was
yeah.
unreal. Like she was like catastrophically bad. No driving for 6
Yeah.
months, no nothing. She was bad,
Yeah.
like bad, weren't she?
Yeah, that was like scary bad, and like I mean, touch wood. I mean, not sure, but hopefully none of us experienced any of that. But like, yeah, it was awful, and like it just shows like the levels of concussion you can have. And yeah, she was an absolute champion with that like recovery as well.
Yeah.
Because also you've got to be so like patient with it, and she's just so dedicated in every aspect. Like when I've seen her at hockey and everything, so yeah, she did really well.
No, well, I really hope you can go concussion free for a very long, if not permanent period of time now, mate. Doesn't sound too great. It's probably very frustrating as well. And it is a pretty serious subject.
Absolutely.
But we'll move on to something else. Sarah Glenn, Sophie Eccleston, Charlie Dean. Deadly spin trio, aren't they? How fun is it to be part of that?
Yeah, no, it's so great. I mean, they're great humans as well, and we're all just so different in every aspect on and off the field. So like we just kind of bring different energies to training and different ideas. So I think that just can only strengthen us as a trio. You were talking about names there, Katherine, earlier, about what names, and I was just brainstorming and I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, maybe Sugababes, that'd be a bit of me, but I'm not sure it's them too.
Oh no, Glenn, you know what this podcast is going to be called now, don't you?
No.
Babe.
Excellent. Spin babe.
Well, no, that would be my personal choice because I grew up
love
watching the Sugababes, and yeah, they just bring a bit of spice, don't they? So
Spice Girl. Yeah,
Fantastic.
wait. Can I just confirm? Is it 3 Sugababes? Is there 3 of
Yeah,
them?
there's 3 in the Sugar
Yeah.
Babes, 5 in the Spice Girls.
Yeah, there was 3.
Yeah.
I grew up watching big fan of Sugababes. And you said, oh, they don't have a name for them.
You could
And
be
I like the word.
you could be TLC and then like have a nickname for each letter. So you be like T, Sophie be L, and Charlie be C.
Yeah,
Atomic Kitten.
I'll
There were
brainstorm
3 of
that,
them.
but that's just my idea anyway.
Anyway,
It's my
I love
suggestion.
the Sugababes. That's great.
Keep thinking of girl bands with 3 of them in it.
What was that
Well,
one?
you'll think about them, but they'll always come back to Sugababes.
What's that beach song where they go, "Never ever have I ever felt so low"?
That's All Saints.
No,
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah. Oh,
Is that
How
Sugababes?
old
That's All
Saints?
Saints. Too old for you, Sarah. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that one.
She's only 24.
No, I do know that song. I'd be dancing to that at school disco.
But we remember it from when it was first out because we're both old. As
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
But you obviously complement each other. You said like personality-wise, completely. We've had Charlie on here. We haven't had Sophie yet. Hopefully, we will. You're all bowled differently as well. So leggy, orthodox offie, and orthodox left arm offie as well. You're just missing the someone who comes up and bowls left arm unorthodox, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll get one of them. Get one of them in the mixer. It's actually quite funny. Sometimes like we'll be warming up and we'll try to bowl each other's like what we normally do. Like they get their leggies out and I try and get my offies out, but I just throw the ball every time. So it's just never worked.
Seam, didn't she? She loved.
Oh yeah, no. To be fair, Soph loves trying to bowl seam. And then Dina gets her leggies out, and then I get my offies out, but I just chuck it each time, so no point.
Now you mentioned about missing cricket because of concussion, which is obviously not ideal, slightly unusual injury, if you like. Also, you missed some cricket last summer to have your appendix removed, which is again another something quite serious but unusual. How horrible was that? How serious was it?
Oh my God, that was.
My sisters had that. That was feral.
Honestly, it was just awful. Like I've never experienced anything like it. But I knew something was probably up that day. So for some context, I'd been struggling like the past year with just some of my bloods to do with my liver. So I hadn't been 100% anyway, even though the bloods were getting better. And some of those would result into just like being really sleepy and tired. But I was kind of like that anyway, so I just didn't put much thought to it. And on the game day, like we had our meeting before we headed over for the second ODI, and I was just completely exhausted, and I was like, "What's going on?" So I had a little nap and then just necked some coffee, and I had some stomach cramps, but like they were fine. Like just thought, it's just some stomach cramps, it'll go away. And obviously the adrenaline of the game, it just distracted me. And then I got back to the hotel, like it was okay, like bit of a bad tummy, but it was okay. And then about 2 a.m. struck and I just started throwing up. And at that point, I thought I maybe have had food poisoning. So I got the doctor round
Dodgy pint.
and he kept coming to give me some tablets. And then it just wasn't getting better. And then the pain was getting worse and worse. And I just kept throwing up. And then I think got to about 5 a.m. and I knew like something's wrong. So the doctor came in and the physio and I literally burst into tears. I was like, something's wrong. I don't know what's going on.
I'm dying.
So, literally, and like this was in Taunton, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So they took me to the hospital, and I felt so sorry for our doctor. I threw up in the car. I had like a little plastic bag with me, and he was like, he went round this roundabout a bit sharp, and I just like completely spewed. And I was like, I'm so sorry. So it's been a traumatic morning. We got there, and just managed to find out what it was. Had lots of tests. There could have been multiple things, and then at one point I was a bit stupid because I went, doctor, I was like, where's my appendix? Where's my appendix? And they're like, it's here. And I went, it's that. And I was like, I know it is, because I think we were so focused on my liver at the time because that had been the problems I'd been having. And then we got
diagnosed. Should be a doctor.
Well, no, they would have been like obviously aware of it, but like at the time there could have been a few different things. I'm not saying I self-diagnosed at this point. I was taking a lot of morphine at this point, so I don't really remember for context. But I was just like, it's my appendix. But it was all just a blur. I was like, it's my appendix, and then got got it out, got it gone. And then when I woke up from the surgery, I like was steering, obviously, like you just nowhere. And I was like, I've got a game, it's the Ashes, I've got a game, I've got to go. And they were like, no, sit down. And I was like, where am I? I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God. And then it just all hit me. So yeah, it's a whirlwind of 24 hours, to say the least.
That's so I know if your appendix bursts, that's really serious and it's like ridiculously painful. I know people that have had that and serious scars. I guess what you had was just like a bit of keyhole, and apparently you were back on the balcony within a few hours. Did you actually get back there?
Yeah, looking back at it, I don't know why, but I had keyhole surgery. They were really good actually. They really looked after me well. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, I just remember like sat in the hospital bed and I was like, I don't want to end my Ashes in the hospital. I was like so like just I don't want to end it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the hospital was probably like a 10-minute drive to the ground. And I thought, do I call in? Do I not? And then the guys were like, come on, just go see the girls, that'd be nice. So I just rocked up into the change room like, hey up, and they were like, are you okay? I was like, no, but I'm here. I'm here to support you girls. And I was literally absolutely nowhere. The drugs were still pretty heavy at this point and it was all fine. So I got to the end of the batting innings and then I was like, right, I'm gonna leave. And then I was actually so sad leaving. I was like, oh my God, like that's it, that's my Ashes done. And then I got back, and then the next morning I literally could not move at all. Like I just couldn't get out of bed without being helped up. Obviously, because it's all like your core. And then I almost have like, you know, when you have anxiety, like you've had quite a few drinks and you can't remember what you've said. I had that. And I messaged some of the girls like, what did I say in the changing room? Like, you're in the middle of the Ashes game. Like, I don't remember what I said or what happened. Like, are we okay? Like, did I say anything bad? They were like, no, you were fine. I was like, okay, cool. And yeah, that was it really.
Would you say you've got a really high pain threshold, or was it mainly just the drugs?
Got you through. I do now, to be fair, but the drugs definitely did help.
You also sound very determined, I'm not gonna lie. Some of those, like how frustrating is it obviously to miss some Ashes cricket through that with something you can't control, and then you've obviously had the concussion stuff. Like you're just getting a bit like really annoyed that they're not like pulling a muscle or anything like that, like these odd things.
I'm over at this point. It's just like a bingo card. I'm like, oh, what's next? Is it me hip? Is it me foot? What we're gonna get?
Yeah, let's get you a steel hip.
What are your
literally?
What are your reflections on the Ashes last year for the group and for the for women's cricket in this country?
Oh my God, just awesome, just so good. Like I can't describe it. And obviously there was such a big build up to it. We could see that through the media, but you never know how it's actually going to transpire. And yeah, when we turned up, obviously started at Edgbaston. The crowd there was insane, and obviously to get that loss was really disappointing. But then when we headed to the Oval and had that turning point, it was just unbelievable, and how people kept turning up for us every single game, and just the crowd and the people we were speaking to after as well. Like it's just really special. We could see a real shift in the women's game as well. So yeah, it was really special to be a part of.
It was great to sit back and watch that unfurl from a seat very high in the stadium every game, and just look down on it and be like, I've just missed out on that. Like how good. Just the feeling I got from sitting on a swivel chair in a media box was like, I got really emotional. I just thought it was brilliant. Like you guys must have been buzzing, and getting Nat home, like for some of those games, she was bloody exhausted because all the adrenaline and stuff was just so like mental. That was so good for women's cricket. Like it just drop kicked it into a 10-year like.
Yeah, it was great. It transcends. It went into the men's game. Like I've been paying attention quite a lot the last few years because I've been involved, but working with Lauren and Danny a bit more, and seeing Lauren come into the test team, and suddenly her world explodes, both for her cricket and just like people just wanted a piece of her left, right, and centre, didn't they? The media was like, "Wow, this woman was rapid and got the Aussies jumping around." It was great, wasn't it?
But let's go back to you as an England. Did you reach England hockey, or was it England at junior?
It was just juniors. Did 16s and 18s.
Yeah.
Um,
Why did you
yeah.
favour? Because you must have played a little bit of cricket growing up, and then why did you go for cricket over hockey in the end?
I think it was just like a gut feel. Like, I mean, I love the sport hockey, like it was great. But I think cricket's a bit more home to me, like a lot more family and friends and stuff. Like, and I think that's kind of why originally I was leaning towards more hockey. I almost wanted to protect that cricket space. Like, it's family, it's friends, it's like lovely. And I played my first Kia Super League tournament
Yeah.
for Lightning. Yeah. And at that point, I'd played like England hockey tournaments.
Oh,
Then I played the
how old was that, Kia?
17, I think,
Yeah.
17, 18. I think I might have just turned 18. And yeah, I played that tournament. And obviously, it wasn't as big as it is now in terms of the other franchises. But yeah, it was just like a turning point for me. I just experienced this tournament, but also like the bond you have with the girls, like you can just be yourself in cricket. And I just think that's really special. And then I was just like, actually, this is what I want. And then that was just kind of a turning point for me. But also on the back of that, that was the year I had back-to-back concussions, and I had to not choose, but there was the England hockey trials coming up in the winter, and then there was the Kia Super League. And so from a physical point of view, I could only really get fit in time for the Kia Super League. So then when I made that like short-term choice, then that was the shift. I was like, oh, it's just a bit of me. It's
Yeah.
cricket life. I'm here for it.
Yeah, like I've met a couple of good hockey players over the years, and um, it's really annoying me that I can't remember the names. But the married couple one was the captain, one was the
Oh, Kate and
Kate and
Helen.
Helen. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with Helen over her rehab period. We had a rehab period together when we were
Oh,
our back discs had exploded, and we were both in Bisham Abbey rehab facility. It was great.
I never knew you did
Oh
that.
yeah, it
Oh,
was great. We
yeah.
exchanged numbers, and I also met the captain of the England women's rugby team there as well.
Oh, wow.
She's like she wasn't then; she was up and coming, but she's
Mm,
that the people they send the cream of the crop there. That they were proper athletes and so determined and loved their sport. And I met through Loughborough Uni. What's your mate? This is I'm so bad with names. What's your mate who played
uni.
Loughborough Uni cricket? But was an England hockey player a couple of years later. She went from hockey and cricket to then go back to hockey. Giselle, yes, I get it.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
wasn't around when that happened, but
no,
yeah.
but there was Giselle, and then I got to meet Alex Danson, obviously, and your training regimes, and Sarah Taylor, she played hockey growing up, so did Holly Colvin, and
Mm,
um, they came to us really fit. We were like, they were wiping the floor with us. I was like, what the hell are you doing at hockey? This is vile. You're
mm,
just like, they could run the yo-yo up and back down again or whatever. But it was like, it seems that the training environment there must be intense.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, yeah. Yeah, it was very intense. And obviously, I experienced that from quite a young age. And, when you're young, you just get stuck in, like, you just crack on. But then I think when I got a bit older, I was kind of like, okay, this is great, but like, and obviously you do have to work hard for cricket in a different way. But then I was kind of like
I don't want to see you
trying
anymore.
so, yeah, that as well. But yeah, there's just like a turning point. I was just like, no, cricket's for me, and it was just like that connect. I felt like there was a bit more to it for me. It was like inspiring young girls as well, and like bringing up that next generation. Whereas hockey, like, as great as it was, I'd get so wrapped into just improving myself and like
Mm,
so fixated on it, and it was quite intense. And I think I was probably doing it for the wrong reasons. Whereas for cricket, there's so much more to it. It's not just my improvement; it's inspiring young girls and stuff like that. And
mm,
I think now, like, if I was to ever work in hockey again, like later on as like a coach or just started playing or something, like I'd love to just bring that to it as well. Like, not that it already has that, but I think my only experience of it was when I was 15, 16. So obviously not many,
mm,
we were the young girls, like there was
mm.
not many girls coming to watch us. So yeah, I think that was probably the difference where it just kind of switched when
Yeah.
the Kia Super League
I
happened.
mean, it wasn't even an option to me. I think it was a posh posh school girl thing, but it wasn't even an option really. And it seemed I didn't. Nat got tennis and stuff, and I'm like, I never saw a tennis court until I was in my 20s. So it just seemed
I
like.
could see you being a hockey
Do you
girl,
reckon?
rocking up
No, I'd end up.
with your
I
gilet.
would definitely get a concussion and broken fingers because I'd be flailing that stick around like a maniac. But I think it's the early mornings and the suicides for me. I much prefer and the skirts. I'm not a skirt gal, but like playing in the winter in a skirt.
The
with
women's
no,
crickets used to wear skirts, didn't they?
yeah,
Even in the
bottom.
90s, weren't they?
I think I escaped that by about 4 years. Like, thank the Lord. Look how far we have come.
Mm.
So yeah, it weren't for me. I think the cricket environment it's a bit more comfortable. It's like you don't it by no means is it easy. It's bloody hard work, and there's so much more to learn. There's so many skills and the like how long it goes on for. But each to their own. But yeah, you could definitely be so valuable in a hockey environment as a mentor, even alongside your cricket. I think that would be so valuable because I think there's a lot of girls that go through all sports throughout their vulnerable years and can be off put or just not have someone to talk to in that way who understands. So I think that would be great. I think that I feel like doing that all the time with cricket because there's so many things that I went through that I wish to God I hadn't, or somebody had told me. I nearly quit, and it's so young, like 14, and I did quit after 5 years, and I said I would never ever play for England, but that obviously you grow up, don't you, and things seem to always get better. So yeah,
Yeah, and I feel like each sport like helped me with the other. Like for hockey, obviously you're just constantly running and you're tackling people. Like for me, I had to get really hyped up for it and like really just train hard. And that was like my way of getting better in hockey. Whereas you know what it's like in cricket, if you try too hard, it'll just go like up. It's not going to work, is it? So
yeah.
you just need to be quite calm and relaxed. And I felt like to hockey, there's just different methods to get up for each game and like different ways you train. So like sometimes with cricket, I'd be like maybe implement something from hockey, I don't know, like a mental tactic, like of just trying to work really hard, and then like in a running session or something. Whereas like sometimes with hockey, like it'd be quite intense. I'd be like, girls, just chill, like deep breath, like this. I don't know. I just think each sport so requires different things. Like I just needed to get pumped up for a game of hockey, whereas for cricket, if I get pumped up, I'm like not in a. I mean, I do, but I just need to be a bit more chilled out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of times when I was really over the top going for it and calm, and I can tell you which one worked and which one didn't. Oh no.
I've got a question, Sarah, slightly off script a little bit. With your cricketing, when you followed cricket growing up as a young girl, just because the age gap, what did Katherine mean anything to you growing up? Do you remember watching her like as an idol, or did you have other idols in the team,
On
England
black and
women's team?
white.
Oh, did she? Nah, I just ignored her. No, I'm joking. Obviously, like Katherine was a big one for me because, like, obviously back then there wasn't much women's cricket about and not much, like, obviously not on the telly or anything. So I grew up with just watching the men's cricket teams and had kind of role models there. And then I had a Lady Taverners
Lady.
comp. Do you remember? I don't know if you won't remember, but there was you and Jenny Gunn to like present the awards, and I was like, oh my God, Katherine's here! Oh my God! And like I got the award off you. We've actually got a picture. I need to find it. I think I've posted it before.
You've sent me.
Yeah,
I know you've sent me.
I've sent it you. Yeah. So yeah, that's the impact she had on me, and I remember coming to the environment, and well, it was actually not England. It was more like I came to netball a few times. And then I just saw a different side of Katherine. I was like, oh, she's a right softie. I love it.
Yeah, I bet you put
then you
at that Lady Taverners, but then you were like, oh no, she's not so bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, she's okay. And then obviously, then when I debuted and just spent more time with her, I was like, oh, she's all right.
Yeah, now she even comes around here. We have dog walks. Right.
I've worked my way up.
I've worked my way up. So in terms of like messaging, because that was really great. What we are really getting under the lid here. I love it. Is there any like the way you go? I mean, you know me, I'm quite outspoken, lol. And I've tend to be quite vulnerable with stuff. I guess I am 38 now, and it took me quite a while to flower. But you know, I've like been open about stuff that I've spoken about, difficult things. And do you like want to be that kind of person for females in cricket? Because obviously you've reached that where you're very feminine and you're not afraid to be feminine within your sport, and you pray, like, you know, celebrate that. And I like, it's genuinely one of the things I love about you, is that you don't give a shit, and it's great. Do you feel like quite proud of that?
Yeah, definitely. But I think I only got that because of the environment I was in. Like coming into the England group, I was like, oh God, like I already knew I was a little bit different. So obviously you're always a little bit hesitant. But you guys, like I remember you seeing like glimpses of it, and you were like, oh yeah, like you kind of encouraged me to like bring that out of me.
Even
So I
more.
guess
We want
yeah,
more.
you're like more and more. Sometimes a bit too over the top, but we move. But yeah, so I just think like I want to be that person as well, because I knew that might have not happened if you guys hadn't been like that or encouraged it. So I just want to be like that for other people. And yeah, just definitely talking about, especially like confidence around like especially like body image and stuff. Obviously there's like more and more cameras now, like everywhere. And even I'm like still so self-conscious like all the time. And it's just kind of trying to be confident in being yourself. And like I definitely want to help those girls. And I think sometimes I'm like waiting to help them because I'm like, well, I need to fix me first. And I was like, oh, actually, I probably always feel like this.
Yeah.
So maybe to start helping now.
Oh my God, yeah, that's so
So
true.
it's always just like an ongoing thing. And yeah, and I don't know how I necessarily go about it. I definitely know how to go about it when like, you know, new girls come into the environment, whether that's England or regional, or, you know, even if I like visit a club or a county, like
Yeah.
I kind of am quite clear about that, but I'd love to try and help in other ways as well.
I think there'd be
certainly
a lot of girls that put off by sport because it's not feminine enough, I guess. So it's so great to like have that mixture in the dressing room. I bloody love it. Sometimes I'm like, I wonder if I could do my nails, and you know, I'd look great. So does anybody like message you and just like praise that and say thank you?
Yeah, like definitely some of the young girls have. And it's just really sweet. And like, but even what's more special is like sometimes parents have messaged and they've said like, oh, my daughter's been struggling at school, like they've been bullied or whatever, and like they've seen you and like, you know, and it's just helped them. And I was just like, oh God, like I'm not emotionally stable when I read those messages. Like, I mean, I cry at most TikToks and I see that and I'm just there like, whoop. So yeah, probably need to get a bit more emotionally stable before I give out advice. But yeah, it is definitely like some of the messages I've received makes it like worth it. Because sometimes like I don't want to talk about it or post about it. Like I just want to be like known for my cricket all the time. But then I kind of want to use my platform as well. So it's just yeah, doing that in the right amounts really.
And then like the longer you go, now you're quite very established and you've been doing it a few years now, you probably feel more comfortable to do it. But I always felt like it was really important. It got to a point where I was like, this is actually really important. Even if I only help one or two, like it's actually really important. And I should just stop worrying about me a little bit, because it helped me be more happy with me too on subjects that I touched on. So yeah, I think it's actually a bit of a self-healing thing too, talking about it. So yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks.
Jack, what did you want to say something? I think he wants to get into your leg spinning.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, only to change. I was just enjoying listening to it, to be honest. Like, it's fantastic. We're getting, like Katherine said, we are getting properly under the lid, and I don't know much about you, to be honest, but it's been unbelievable to listen to this. Yeah, let's talk leg spin. Sarah, how did you find leg spin, or how did leg spin find you? How did that all come about?
So I used to bowl some naughty scene back in the day. Like we're charging,
didn't we all?
Absolutely charging. Yeah. And then yeah, one day my wrist just like went like a leggy. Don't know why or how it happened. I think probably like my shoulder was just collapsing and it just kind of happened. And my dad was like, "Why are you bowling quick leg spin?" And I was like, "What's leg spin? Not heard that before." Um, and then he, explained it to me. And then he showed me some videos of Shane Warne bowling it.
Obviously.
And I think I just heard all this like amazing things about it. And like, oh yeah, it's so difficult and to bowl and things like that. Like one of the toughest things to bowl. So I remember just like trying to decide between the two of them. And I was quite competitive with my dad and my brother, especially, and my sister, to be fair. We'd all just go for like a net when I was younger. And then I just thought, well, if I could be really good at leg spin, that's really hard. But I'd love that. So yeah, just picked it up from there really, then just started learning about it. Like my dad would teach me, my brother would, like I'd watch the tutorials with like Shane Warne,
Love it.
a proper badger, and then yeah, just try to take that away from my dreadful seam.
What a teacher, though. How good is Shane Warne?
I'm
And
gonna say,
you have-
like, if you're gonna
how
try and
unique
copy
is
any leggy, sorry, if you're gonna copy any leggies, then the king of spin, isn't he?
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, I tried so hard to copy him, but obviously, I mean, you see my action, like not just frogging a blender, but you could definitely tell I used to bowl seam like right up here, and I was trying so hard to like drop my shoulder like Shane Warne, and I was like, my shoulder would be so sore trying to spin it all day, and I'd get so frustrated. But definitely took some tips from him, and then yeah, just then found my own way of bowling it, then actually decided I really liked it and wanted to stick to it.
I love that about you. You are unique. Try copying that.
So it's key. Like you've got to that level by doing it. Did anyone ever try and coach anything out of you, your action, or try and actually go, "No, you got to do it like this, so your technique's got to be like that"?
Yeah, well, of course. I think in the early days it was, but to be fair, you should. Oh my God, my old action was. I used to literally like fully jump up at the crease, like all my weight was going upwards. And then Gareth Breeze enters the chat, and I said to Gareth, I was like, "Sort me out, please. Like, I just want to get more spin on the ball because I'm basically bowling quick leg, like
No wrong with that.
what I used to bowl." So yeah, he just like I asked him to help me with that. Obviously, he was my coach growing up, like with the academy and now England. So just yeah, getting the shoulder to drop and get my energy towards the stumps, just to try and become a bit more of a traditional leggy. And then now I feel like I've got the balance of the two now, which is really nice. Like I know how to access like genuine spin now, but then also kind of my stock delivery, which is only like a little bit, but obviously a bit more. Sometimes it's skiddy, sometimes it bounces with my height, which I think is really effective. So it's nice with working on that. I've got access to kind of both now. And I did for a long time just wanted to be a real traditional leggy, but then I just found it more exciting what I did and more natural, and just thought I want to be a bit bougie with it, really.
Absolutely, go bougie with leg spin. I love how nerdy you are with it. You absolutely, like, you can tell you're passionate about it. You've definitely chosen the right thing, cricket over hockey.
Bougie.
Yeah. Although I don't know how I feel about called badger, because like I definitely am, because I'll like watch videos of tutorials for hours, but then I'll just come out with the word bougie, which makes me not sound like a badger at all, but we move.
Makes cricket sound better, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Less traditional.
Hashtag we move.
Absolutely.
Right, in current life, Jack wants to know about this. I've told him about this house you've got. You've bought
Yeah, so
your very own house.
I want to hear about
Mm.
are you doing you've obviously you bought a house, you live in a house. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you self-renovating like Brunty, digging holes, driving diggers,
Absolutely not.
cutting trees down? Like
No,
you're doing
not to, oh my gosh, not to that extent.
She's earning more money than I did when I was digging and things back in the day.
No, but your wife is Nat Sciver-Brunt, Katherine, don't forget that.
the
I'm
planet
not in my
greatest
WAG
cricketer.
era right now. But yeah, definitely not to Katherine and Nat's level, but just doing a little bit of renovation, just adding a bit of spice to it, a bit of me.
Bougie.
Shouldn't take too long. I'm hopefully, bougie, the words back again. Hopefully moving kind of after the 100. The fire's been fitted.
Yeah.
They're getting the worktop fitted tomorrow, so exciting. I didn't think I'd ever get so excited about a kitchen worktop in my life, but it's so exciting.
You're a real girl
So yeah, I know. So yeah, that's kind of it really, and hopefully move in after the 100.
And you're also a bit of a dog lover like Katherine as well. Talk to us about your pup.
Yes. Oh God, talk about him for hours.
What have you got?
It's called Reggie.
Reggie.
Black Lab.
Awesome.
He's the family dog. He's a very handsome dog.
Got a little grey beard
And just
now.
yeah. Oh, he has. Oh, don't. I cry about it each time. Like every time it's his birthday, I'm just sobbing,
What?
and he's looking at me like, "What are you
You're
doing?"
crying
And I'm
about your
like,
dog.
"Babes, you're getting older." No, but like, if I see a grey hair on my dog, it makes me so sad. Want to cut it right off. Yeah, he's great and gets on well with Bella, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've got some dog lovers on here. We had Ben Duckett week 1, first guest, and he loves his dog. He put a pink bow on it, I think, when he got his baby news. Was that right?
Yeah, we had a pig lover last week. Harry Brook had a
Oh,
pig when he
yeah.
was younger.
Yeah, not in the bed though.
Oh, oh, I've seen little pigs, so they are
They
cute.
are cute, and then you eat them.
Yeah, they taste tremendous.
Pork belly,
Yeah, I'll be,
bacon sandwich.
I'm like, oh, that's such a cute video of a pig while I have my bacon sarnie. Typical.
Well done, please. Now, jeez.
Next segment, Glennie, is our guest
Mhm.
stat alert. We're going to ask you a question about your career, see if you know if you're that much of a
Oh
badger or
God,
not.
don't do this to me.
No,
My dad does this with
Nothing
me. I can't
stressful.
cope.
We're just going to release a
Okay.
stat about you.
ODIs, did you play before you actually batted? So we've got one for both, for T20s and for ODIs.
Quick one.
Like 9?
Almost. It's 11 for T20s and 6 for ODIs. Just lurking down the
Oh.
bottom, just not required. It's what when you play for a good team.
It's good.
Yeah, we're all right, to be fair.
You won't complain about that, would you? Really? Because
No.
let's be honest, if you'd got a bat, it would have probably been like 4 off 1 ball, and you'd been like, "Thanks, gals, thanks for that."
Well, it's either 4 off 1 or a walk back to the shed, but it's okay.
Or you just have
It's
to
one
go
way or
and
another.
like run, just run.
Yeah.
That's my.
Oh, I hate when
favourite.
you do that and you just run in and run 2, get run out. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and you pull your hamstrings. You've been sat there half hour at least in the cold. Right, so we're on to our. Been great chatting, by the way. So much great chat going off. PCA MVP update, which is powered by Argentix. I love that. We've got Holly Armitage has moved to the top of the overall women's domestic table. Did you know that? I mean, the
I
97
didn't, but it
probably-
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, the 97 did help. It was funny that I was at Headingley getting my cat presentation. Sorry, I'll just get that in there for the viewers. I am wearing a delicious
Yorkshire.
Yeah, look, I would have
It's
preferred
from
it just
Barnsley.
had Brunt on it, but I'll put that on there. So and Holly was on something like 90, and they'd lost no wicket, and Marlowe was on 9 at the other end. I was like, what? Does that ever happen?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She'd like faced 50 balls without Marlowe facing a ball. Must be some sort of like record. Anyway, then we've got your captain, Kirsty Gordon. But I think just before Kirsty, I think she's 3rd, and I think Charlie not the filthy Aussie who's come over and is dominating our domestic league. She's doing all right. And then
she's a great player.
the beautiful Bryces. We do love Katherine and Sarah. They are babes. So it's lovely to see them. Very consistent as they are. They're also at the top of the Charlotte Edwards Cup standing, so that's very nice.
And
very nice. Oh, I love watching them at Lord's the other day.
I know, babes. I wish they could get on a board somewhere. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Literally, they deserve it. When they were batting together at Lord's, I was getting emotional. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, the sisters.
That's so cute.
They're hugging. Anyway,
literally.
Jack's going to talk us through the boys. Boys.
Yeah, in the men's MVP, Durham's David Beddingham. He's in a rich vein of form. He sits head of the overall. He's scoring lots of runs. It'd be good to get him on here as a guest, actually, at some point. He's just ahead of Rob Yates, the Warwickshire opener. Liam Dawson, who was one of my favourites from the beginning before the season to get up there. He's now in 3rd spot. He's working his way up, and he does a bit of this, does a bit of that. And David Payne, he's had a belting few games in the T20 for Gloucester. He is leading in the Vitality Blast standings, just ahead of Luke Wells of Lancashire and Dan Mosley down at Warwickshire, who's bits and pieces as well. Moving on to our Under the Lids big question. as all of our listeners will know, this show is all about getting the truth behind life as a professional cricketer, Glennie. And every week we get to ask a question for one piece of information that most people do not know about you.
I can't
Please
wait.
make it non-cricket related if possible to make it a bit more interesting.
Oh yes. Great question. Could go one of many ways. I'm gonna go with
something bougie.
I was homeschooled for most of my childhood.
Interesting. Didn't expect
Bougie. I wish
that.
that
Is
bougie.
How was that for you?
Go on.
Oh, I loved it. Like, it was so good. I just played, well, to be fair, like me, my brother and sister were really close. And yeah, we just played lots of sports and we travelled around Oz and New Zealand. We actually nearly moved to New Zealand when I was younger. So yeah, just did lots of travelling. It was great. And then I got to when my GCSEs were done, I was like, I need to go to school. I was like, I need to leave.
That's pretty cool.
And then went to Trent College for my A levels, who did help me out with cricket and hockey. So it was really good. So quite two extremes there, but it was really good. Yeah.
That is super quirky.
I'm going to have to ask you about that later because I feel bad that I don't even know some of that. That's so cool. I aspire for my children to have the same upbringing. So I'll be bringing some questions your way on effectiveness.
There we go.
You learn something every day. Anyway,
there you go.
This is the last round. This is the quiz.
Oh,
right. Quiz.
Oh no!
Don't worry, it won't be general knowledge. It won't be maths. This will be
thank God.
Cricket stuff. There might be a little bit of a half volley thrown in there, but you never know. So what you get is you can probably see the runs are on the board there. For every correct question you get right, you get 1 run. And we've got a leaderboard at the minute.
Oh God, don't have a leaderboard, Catherine.
Yeah. No, but
I'm gonna get the wooden spoon.
There's a delicious prize at the end of the year if you are the champione, so it'll be worth it, I promise. So I think you need 8 or 9 to win.
Yeah, a couple of the boys, Ollie Hull and Dolby is got 8, Harry Brook got 8, your mate Charlie Dean got 7. At the bottom of the table, Katie Levick, Tom Kohler, Cadmore, Ben Duckett, all on 4.
Oh God, I'm definitely getting the wooden spoon.
Oh well.
Confident, stay confident.
Great time doing it anyway. Right, let's see how you go.
There's a minute on the board. We'll ask them as quickly as possible. If you don't know the answer, just pass, move on. We've got loads of questions.
Okay.
Right, this is the last round.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
Where do England play their first ODI against New Zealand?
Durham.
Yes. Which format do you have your best bowling figures in? ODIs or T20s?
T20s.
Correct.
Yeah. Which fellow English bowler did you overtake to become the second highest ranked T20 bowler in the world in September 22?
Jess Johnson.
Which will England play? Who will England play in their first match? The T20 World
England
Cup?
play.
Who are you playing in the World Cup first game? Just guess.
South Africa.
Yes. Who did you dismiss with a stunning catch at mid-off during last year's 100?
Yes. Which former England hockey under-16s and Beeston teammate of yours went on to win 18 senior caps for England and GB? Quick.
Beeston. Tess Howard.
No.
You had the best bowling average in last year's women's 100. What was it?
Pass.
Well, say a number. Don't just pass it. You get a guess.
Okay, 12.
Very close, though.
10.8. Do we give her that? Is it that close?
What have we been allowing? Allow 1 point either side, it says.
Producers are tight, aren't they?
Are we going to get? We might get in trouble for that if it comes down to the wire. Who has more TikTok followers, you or Lauren Bell? Lol. That's the next question.
Oh God.
Oh. Anyway, you had more TikTok followers. How good? And I think it was that video we made in Essex.
That was definitely you.
Is that still all
shaking your ass?
High numbers? Is that your number one?
Still very. Yeah, I think. Oh,
Was
actually,
it 500,000?
there's a bowling video I posted from New Zealand that went viral because it was a no ball front foot,
Oh.
and I was gonna post it. I wasn't gonna post it, and then I was like, oh, but it's just the aesthetic in the background. It's the only video I've got that's a good ball, so I'm just gonna post it. And then I had like hundreds of comments coming in like, no ball, no ball.
Oh, God.
It's-
Bore
Shit
off.
chat in it. It's stinking chat.
Stinking.
Yeah,
It's like people
but it's
driving.
getting some views and comments, so we move.
It's almost up there with people driving past cricket grounds when you're playing, hanging out the window, going, "How is that?"
Oh God. Honestly, if you like, Catherine, if you want your like Instagram or TikTok to pop off, just post a video of you ball on a front foot no ball. It'll just go viral.
I did watch one of England put one on once we were training, and I did overstep a little bit, and that's all that the comments were. Unbelievable.
Mm.
And they like to copy you in on the comments, and you're like, I don't. I've actually.
Yeah, I was going to ask, who was the Beeston hockey player? I don't know why I said Tess Howard shouldn't play for Beeston.
Esme.
Burge.
Oh, Esme, yes. I was going to say Esme as well. I don't know why Tess came because she shouldn't play. Oh,
Shame on you. Shame.
It's pressure. It's
Shame.
what pressure does.
Does.
Sarah, that is it. Thank you so much for going on Under the Lid with us. It's been awesome chatting, to be honest with you. We could have chatted to you all night, I reckon. Very entertaining. Great to meet you. Good luck for the rest of the summer. Hopefully our paths will cross at some point. Go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and see you later.
Thank you for having me.
Great guest, Brunty.
Yes.
Great guest.
Yeah, she's always great. I love Lenny. Like meeting up with her, talking to her whenever I can. Like she's just fantastic. She's
Good value.
Yeah, good laugh. Doesn't take herself seriously. Just a great human. Just loves all like who a dog lover generally is.
Yeah, I mean
fine.
you can't go wrong with dog lovers. Dog lovers. Dog.
Yeah.
Dog. Can't speak.
Are you okay?
Can't speak. No, she's awesome. Anyway, thanks for getting under the lid with us. It's been fun, as always. Please subscribe, leave a review, tell all your friends. We loved hearing from you. It's been another fantastic episode. We've got another great guest next week. Take care.
Lovely. Ciao for now.